Well, good day to you, all my friends out there. Welcome to makeshift camping. A little warm today, but my understanding is we're supposed to get a little bit of rain to move in, so hopefully this evening uh, it cools some things down. Some people around us have already had some weather, but they end up having storms and stuff, so we don't want any real storms. And there is a possibility some bad weather around us tonight, but hopefully nobody gets harmed or their property gets harmed during it. But I want to welcome you guys back. I'm glad you're here, and I hope you're enjoying our videos. Today I brought out my little Winchester. I think I've introduced it once before. I don't know if I have or not, but anyway, it's a little cheap made knife, but it's got such a pretty handle on it, what's kind of attracted me to it. It's not good for anything except for small things, like I said, maybe your nails or getting a splinter out or something like that. And I've got several little knives like that, but there's just something about the wood grain on this little knife that kind of attracted my attention. So I kind of added it to my collection back a few years back. So if we need to do any cutting today, which I don't know of any that we're going to be doing, but if we happen to do it, we've got something here we can try. We're going to do a little something different. We're going to cook our breakfast this morning. But I made a pot, or my wife made a pot of beans, and I made some fried cornbread, and we had them for supper. Delicious, guys, delicious. But we realized need something sweet after it. So today I'm going to fix breakfast, but I'm also going to fix a little cake, a little chocolate cake to have for dessert tonight after we do our beans and cornbread again. I've already got my oven started at 350 right now. It's at 400. I'm going to turn it down just a little hair, but I'd like to get it at 350. When I open that door, obviously the temperature's going to drop, and I can regulate it. All right, now this is I saw this little recipe. Again, I'm stating right out, these recipes are not mine. None of them. Now, like I said, I may add to or take away on a recipe, but they're not my recipes. It's something I saw, and I thought it'll be kind of neat to make. And it's called an Oreo cake, Oreo cookie cake. And I guess you could use any kind of cookies you want. And what I've done is I've taken about 30 Oreo cookies and taken the icing out of them. And I got these, the reason I'm using Oreos is I got these Oreo cookies on sale. They were a special issue, and they had kind of a greenish icing inside, and so apparently they didn't sell well. So I think I gave $1.90 or something for them, and so I thought that'd be a good one to try this recipe. I've never done it before, but it was so simple the way they talked about it. So you take approximately 30 cookies. It doesn't matter which kind, I imagine, and you crush them up. What I'm going to do is make a lot of noise. Try to crush them up as thin as you can crush them without making a mess and knocking a hole in your bag. And I may not be doing this exactly the way they would have done it, but this is a recipe I heard, and I think I can handle that. And I guess I could have already crushed these up, but I kind of wanted to walk you through every step of it if I could. I guess you could put this in one of them choppers and really chop them up. But when you're out camping and stuff like this, you ain't got all that kind of stuff. And to me, this was such an easy little recipe to do while out camping if you wanted to make something. Now you got to be careful what cookies you buy, because cookies are outrageous in price too. But usually stuff like this, if I buy it, you can guarantee it's on a pretty special deal. But one of my favorites is peanut butter cookies, and I think if I like how this turns out, I think the next one I'm gonna try is peanut butter cookies. You know those peanut butter, they look like peanuts cookies. I love them things with a good ice cold milk. And I love Oreos. I just don't like the icing in them. Too sweet. I'm not a big icing person. Just like this, when I make it, I'm not going to put an icing on it. Now, some of you may, and you can, put some type of icing on top of it. But if I make a cake, normally I never put icing on it. One of my favorite cakes is just a yellow cake mix. And while it's still hot, put butter on top of it. Man, and eat it. You don't need no icing. But I'm kind of anxious to see how this turns out. Like I said, I've never done this myself either, so we're going to find out together how this works out. And if you're at home doing this, I suggest you put this in your chopper and just blend her down into a powder almost. Because you really don't know when to quit when you do it this way, it looks like. I think we're getting it pretty close, I would say. Let's flatten it out here. See what we got. There goes my nose itching again. I don't know why it is. I can go all day long and my nose not itch, and I can come out here and I'm going to do this 4 or 5 times. I get on video, my nose is going to itch. Yeah, I should have done this. I should have done this off camera, probably. I think we're just about there. Ain't be much left in there, can there? Okay, I think I'm going to live with that right there. I think I'm going to live with that right there. Now, I'm going to dump this into a bowl here. And like I said, at home, I don't know that I wouldn't put that in some type of chopper and do this. That's about what I come up with right there. All right. Now, it said we had to have a tablespoon of baking powder. All right. All right. Again, let's clean up our little spoon here so we don't have bugs and stuff running around here. If for some reason we got to put up in a hurry, we hadn't put up a mess. All right. Yeah, my nose is itching. Doggone, I don't know why that's doing that to me. Now then, kind of mix, really mix those two together, it said. I can handle these 3 ingredient recipes, but if they get very long, kind of like that's from yesterday, it's kind of like I have to have a little note there to kind of walk me through it, because halfway through something, I don't care how many times I've cooked it. I could have cooked it 1,000 times. But for some reason, I lose thought, and I sit here chase. And a lot of times, you may even see me look at a recipe that's right there at me, and my mind still won't let me go to the next step for a second. I'm having to justify it in my mind. It's weird, but anyway, we're doing this. All right, now you add a cup of milk to that. These are the only 3 ingredients there is. And of course, I always have stuff measured out, especially today. This is going to turn into a pretty long video if I ain't careful, because I'm trying to accomplish 2 things in one. You just mix it up like that right there. Okay. It'll thicken up a little bit. But I hope this turns out good, because I'm sure want a dessert. And like I said, I'm not going to put an icing on this. Now, you guys can if you want to at home. A lot of people love icings. My wife loves them sweet, sweet icings. I can't handle them. And I love cake. Just about any kind of cake, but I'd just soon have them without the icing. You get that crumbled up enough and get that milk in there, it's going to help you break down the rest of the cookies. You just keep stirring it. And I suggest you stir it till it kind of smoothens out, just like any other cake mix. You may even, after you make it up, let it set for a little bit, then stir it again. That way, you know. Look at me. I'm acting like I know what I'm talking about, and I ain't never made this before, but I've made cakes before. We'll see. Alrighty. Okay, I think that's looking pretty good right there. Alrighty. Now then, you're supposed to grease you up a pan. I'm gonna go, and I brought out a little bit of lard, because when I grease up a pan, I actually like to use lard. So I'm gonna put that in there. Then I'm gonna grab me a paper towel here, and then I'm just gonna wipe that in there and kind of grease that up. That way I know she ain't gonna stick. Every time my little ones bark, I think somebody's coming up on me. I try to keep an eye on that, because if I don't, it'll startle me and I'll lose track of what I'm trying to do. Alright, I got that greased up good there. Get this out of my way, since I don't have a lot of table to work with today because of what we're doing. Alright, let me grab me a do here and kind of wipe my hands up a little bit. Alright. Alright, now then, we're going to take a little flour and kind of brush over that. That's something I've got to refill too, ain't it? But I got enough in here to do that with. But I need to kind of flour this down so it don't stick too bad on me. Ooh, I got that all over me, didn't I? Man, did I get that all over me. Well, I'm glad I'm outside instead of in the house. My wife would have a fit with me on stuff like this. Because outside, it doesn't matter where it goes. If you pull this stunt in the house, it's a totally different ballgame. This lets me get it all done out here and not have to worry about a mess. That's why you want to go camping, guys. You men who love to cook and stuff, you can do it out camping. And it doesn't matter if you make a mess as long as you clean up your trash. They don't care if there's a little baking powder or fire on the ground. Now, they don't want no trash. You take your trash with you. Try to leave that park cleaner than you found it. All right, let's put this up out of the way here. All right, now then, I'm going to stir that again, and I'm going to pour that in this pan. I got my oven at 350. Probably going to take about 20 minutes to cook this, I figure. They say 20 to 25 minutes, but sometimes this little stove here, this little Coleman stove, will cook faster than it does in the house, and sometimes it cooks slower depending on what you're cooking for some reason. I'll just have to do like I normally do. I'll just have to keep a close eye on it and see what it does. But so far, everything we've put in this Coleman oven, we've been able to cook without burning up. Let me set that over there out of the way. Kind of wipe down a little bit here. All right, guys. We're going to stick her in here and see how she turns out. All right. Right now, that's on 375, and I went on 350. So I'm going to turn that down, I mean, just a little bit, and see if she wants to stay around 350 for us. And it's right now 25 till 8. So that means about, we'll check on it at 10 till 8 and see what happens. What do you say about that? All right, now then, we're going to back up here now, and we're going to light up our stove here. Hey, I got me some more bottles for these. Little stoves here. And we're going to fix us a little bit of breakfast. It's going to be a simple breakfast. Get those over out of the way. Spray our skillet down here. Let's light her up here. Okay, right here. We're going to have sausage, egg, and hash brown and toast. Is what we're going to have. Those in there. We're probably going to need a lot more oil than that since we're doing hash browns, aren't we? All right. Then we'll get our sausage in there. I'm kind of leaning into the camera today, but I got so much stuff going on at one time. Uh-oh. Picked up those hash browns. Made my hands slick. Now I can't open up my sausage. There we go. There we go. We got it open. We got it going here. Nice thing about what I'm cooking right here is the hash browns, those frozen hash browns, they're basically cooked, and so is the sausage. So all you're having to do is basically warm this stuff up. Kind of brown it a little bit. So it makes for a pretty fast breakfast. Yeah. So Oh man. Be another one of these out here. When I was in school, I had a buddy, his name was Kenny, and he and I spent most of our sophomore year telling jokes to each other in the middle of class. What we'd do is we'd try to get each other to crack up in the middle of class. You know, just being kids, you know how it is. At that point age, you think you know everything, but you're still kids. But he told me his joke one time that got me nearly kicked out of class. He said there's this old boy who had trouble speaking. And he's looking for a job. And he come up on this ad in the newspaper that stated toothbrush salesman wanted. And the old boy thought, you know what? Surely to goodness, I can sell toothbrushes. Now, what's so hard about selling a toothbrush, he thought to himself. So he goes in for an interview. And the guy tells him, says, listen, says, we're trying to hire about 10. And to kind of let you know how salesmen do, says, most people will sell anywhere from 10 to 20 a day. Says the guy that probably is the best salesman in our company sells about 25 a day. Says you make good money at that. And he said, at the end of each week, you'll come and you'll do a report to us. And you'll tell us how many you've sold. You'll turn in your receipts and pick up new inventory if you need it. Turn that down a little bit here. So after doing his interview, the young man says, I believe I'll just take that job. So they set him up with an inventory. He goes out to the nearest mall and rents him a little place in the mall to set up a little stand. He'll put his toothbrushes out there and sell them. So after the first week, he goes in and does his little interview that tells him how many toothbrushes he sells and what inventory he needs. And he has sold 28 toothbrushes that week. And his boss just can't believe it. So he restocks him. Young man comes back the next week and he's doubled that. You know, and then week after week, he's doubling sales. Finally, his boss brought him in there and he said, listen, I told you when you first interviewed for this job that our best salesman will sell about 28 toothbrushes a week. He said, you're up to 200 or 300 toothbrushes every week. He says, how in the world do you sell that many toothbrushes? Young man says, he says, I got me a stand in the mall. He says, I lay out all of my toothbrushes. Says, I got a bowl right here sitting beside it and some chips. And he says, when people walk by, I say, you want to try my chip and dip? And they say, sure. So they get a chip and they dip it into the dip. And then all of a sudden they spit it out and they say, man, that tastes just like horse manure. He says, it is horse manure. Want to buy a toothbrush? I hope I didn't offend anybody with that little story because the guy had a little speech impediment. But it was just such a funny thing when I was a kid. I thought that was a funny joke. And nearly got me kicked out of class because I just could not stop laughing. Okay, we're gonna lay that. I think these right here are ready to go. I'm gonna turn that stove way down because I ain't gonna need that much temperature to cook our eggs. Because I know these sausages are already cooked, but when I do cook sausage, man, I cook them. I mean, I'll cook the life out of them. There's one thing, when it comes to this pork stuff, I almost want it burnt because I want to know that cooked plumb through. I don't want to play around with it at all, as the old boy says, at all. All right. Let's get a little bit of that oil out of there. Shouldn't be a whole lot. Then we'll put a little butter in there. Get my eggs here. I may have turned that all the way off, did I? That or I may have run out. I had just a little bit left in that. Yeah, I turned it all the way off. I got some new cans of this fluid, but there was just a little bit left in the can that I had, and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna make sure that I've used every drop of that before I like I say, I apologize for reaching in front of the camera, but I ain't got a lot of room when I'm trying to cook two things at one time. That may be something I need to try to work on. All right, I'll grab my lid here. Pour just a little bit of water in there. And we're gonna let them eggs cook. My nose is itching. Must have morning uh, sinus itching or something. It didn't start till here lately, or if it did, I didn't. If it may be something you don't realize you're even doing until you're on video and you see yourself. It's kind of like scratching your head or doing something, and it may be if I've always kind of rubbed my nose in the morning, but not being on video, I didn't notice it as much. For some reason, since I've been doing this, it seems to me like my nose itches a lot in the morning. Go ahead and grab our plate. Now all we like after this is getting our toast done, and we will be ready to rock and roll. Now, don't y'all see how pretty those eggs are cooking? Can y'all see that? You just put that steam on there and let it cook top that egg. You don't break your egg up. I know I've showed that to y'all before, but it sure does make a huge difference when you're trying to cook, especially if you're cooking for other people. It's nice to be able to hand them a pretty egg. If you don't break it trying to get them out of the skillet, that is. See there how pretty those eggs are? Those are pretty eggs. Now we're going to do is a little bit of toast. Here. All right. Wipe this off. Ain't nothing wrong with it. Just had that cake icing on it. Put a little butter on there, right there. What we'll do is up a couple pieces of toast. Well, our oven's staying at right temperature. That's good. All right, we get our toast done here, and we will be ready to chew up. Oh, so there's a couple pieces of sausage over there. One of these hash browns. All right. Oh, we got a moth coming around. He smelled that good cooking. He said, "You know what? That old big boy knows a little bit about cooking, it looks like. I'm going to go over and try out his food." And we like about 2 more minutes, and I'm going to check on that cake. I was kind of hoping they'd both get done pretty close to the same time. Breakfast and that. Okie dokie. All right, we're going to shut all this down. Let's go over here and look at this cake and see what we think. Want to? Let's see what we think here. You really can't see it like that, can we? Let's grab us something here. I'm walking you around. I'm walking you around a little bit, ain't it? It still likes a little while, guys. It still likes a little while. So we're gonna have to hold off on that. But we're gonna get our breakfast, and we're gonna get set up over here, and we're gonna try our breakfast out. All right, and I'll get back with you in just a little bit.